If you think you're going to be a winner, then you're a loser. Business crew, greetings from Poland. Today I would like to discuss multi-level marketing. And when it comes to multi-level marketing or network marketing, I have a motto. And my motto is, if you think you're going to be a winner, then you're a loser. And in this episode, I'm going to prove to you why that is. Multi-level marketing is actually not very well understood by most people. Now, they might think they know what multi-level marketing is about, but really they don't. Because if they did know what multi-level marketing was about, how it worked, what the benefits, advantages, disadvantages of it are, of multi-level marketing are, you would not have so many people being involved in it and being burnt by it. Out of all the people that I have spoken to, including the experts in this topic, not one of them has actually explained to me the history of multi-level marketing as a system. And because they don't know the history of it, they don't realize that multi-level marketing or network marketing is an obsolete system. As always, as almost always, which is why you actually should listen to what I say and also share these movies with others. As almost always, the perspective that I have on certain concepts or topics in business are going to be different to the mainstream. Possibly because I'm a thinking guy, but also because I actually analyse things. So let me explain. Let's go back to the history of multi-level marketing and network marketing. And in doing so, I am going to explain to you, if you don't quite know what it is, what multi-level marketing and network marketing, the same thing really, personal selling, how it works. Multi-level marketing was very useful at one point. Going back literally hundreds of years ago, when telecommunications was not what it is today, when transportation was not what it is today, when the infrastructures of cities and towns were not what they are today. It was much different to do business. It was harder. There needed to be systems and structures in place which were appropriate for the circumstances at the time. So let's talk about Australia, because this is where I am. But this could apply to anywhere, America, Europe. Going back 100, 150 years ago, or even further, depending whether it's Europe or whether it's America, there were vast distances between cities and towns. So let's just say that you are a baker or a candlestick maker, and that you are particularly good at what you do. Your products are in high demand in your particular region, in city X. Whatever city or town you live, let's call it city or town X. It could be anywhere, Australia, America, Europe, doesn't matter where, okay? So your market in those days was your local community. There was no internet, there was no electronic commerce, there was no logistical systems of trucks and trains. that could efficiently move things around. So whatever you did, you were limited to the local community. But let's just say that you were a pioneer, a business pioneer, an innovator, and you wanted to take your business a little bit further. Because it might just have been the case that whatever you made, you built up a loyal client base. And sometimes your clients would have said to you, you know, your candles are the best in town, or your cakes or your bread or whatever it may be is just so good that I'm going to buy some extra because I have some friends and family who have, you know, come over from another city and they're staying with us, and they're going to be going back home in a couple of days. So I'm going to stock up and I'm going to be buying more of your things from you so that they can take them back to where they are going. And so you might have thought, you might have been quite proactive, and you might have thought, listen, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll do a deal with you. How about you take some of my products back to your city or your town and sell them? Because if you think they're so popular that you are actually taking them with you for your family and, you know, further your further family and friends, well, how about we do this? How about you help me get my products into your town, and I will then pay you, you know, I'll give you a commission, or I'll give you some bonus products, or some other little goodies as an incentive. So those of you who know multi-level marketing, does this sound familiar? So what you actually did, you needed people who would take your products, and then they would then take those products and distribute them in areas which you would not otherwise have access to. Not because you're lazy or because you didn't want to. You ran a business. You're the candlestick maker. Travelling 500 kilometres 150 years ago, that could have taken, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, right? To get there. And then maybe 3 or 4 days to get back. You didn't have a network of people in those towns and cities. Marketing wasn't as developed as it is today. You would be neglecting your business because most probably you would have had to make your products physically. You know, most products were handmade in those days. You didn't have a machine where you could just go and it would just churn out products. So 150 years ago, it just wasn't practical for you to distribute your products in any other way, really, to new markets other than through certain people. And to motivate them, you would then give them incentives. And perhaps if the city is big enough, you would then say to a particular person, listen, maybe if you know other friends who really like my product and they would like to take my product and distribute them in other areas of your city, then maybe, you know, if you're going to be coordinating this, then maybe I will not only pay you for what you sell, but I'll also pay you a percentage of what your friend sells. This way, you're more proactive in getting new people to distribute my products in your city. And so that's how the concept actually began, which no one really knows. They just don't know the history, okay? So you had your product maker who was restricted geographically to his local market. The only feasible way of taking his products to other markets is through the use of people who are actually in those particular markets, in those particular cities, in those particular towns. And for it to be worthwhile, they would then get compensated through a percentage. And to ensure that other people were also involved and were motivated to distribute these products in these towns and areas, then perhaps these people would be given an extra percentage of the sales that other people were made. Okay? That's it. That's the history of multi-level marketing. You've got your seller, and then you've got your network of individuals underneath that, and then they get paid on the sales that they make. That was great 150 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. Perfect. It was the system. It was really the only way that you could get your area, you could get your product and distribute them all across the country. Now, today we have the internet. Today we've got freeways. Today we've got trucks. Today we've got railway. Today we've got television. Today you've got distribution agencies. It's so using the multi-level marketing system is about as effective, and it makes about as much sense as using a horse as a form of transportation. It's really that simple. Most people don't get it, and that's because most people are dumb. Because it practically is the same thing. Because 150 or 200 years ago, the horse was critical. It was a form of transportation. It allowed people to do things. It moved goods around. A horse was a big thing. There was a whole industry built around the horse. Today, for most people, a horse is a pain in the ass. You need a special place to keep the horse. In most places, you can't ride a horse on normal roads and streets. You can't exactly go on holiday with your family and friends on a horse. When it rains, there are issues. It's just what is appropriate today was not appropriate 200 years ago. What was appropriate 200 years ago may not be appropriate today. And a horse is not an appropriate, efficient, comfortable form of transport today as it was. It was as comfortable and efficient as it was 200 years ago, but there was nothing better then. Whereas today there are better things. That's not to say that a horse has no place in society. Of course it does. That's not to say that multi-level marketing should be scrapped altogether. Not at all. There are advantages of multi-level marketing. It's just that for 99% of people, multi-level marketing is useless and it's going to be a pain in the ass. It is going to be more trouble than it is worth. You who are now watching this movie, if you were given a horse, or God forbid, if you actually paid for a horse, like you paid to join a multi-level marketing, imagine you paying $300 or $400 or $500 or $100 for a horse. What are you going to do with it? The upkeep. You're eventually going to get rid of it, most probably. That's why, for most people, they join a multi-level marketing system and they leave. They get burned. They're sick of it. Okay? That's the reality. Multi-level marketing for the individual who joins is the worst possible system. It has the worst elements of employment. It has the worst elements of a business. Now, most people, if you're bright enough, if you're proactive, if you're ambitious, they don't want to work for somebody. Because working for somebody is, it's not good. It's not a way to live like a human being. Okay, basically. The employment system is a particular system. You will not get paid what you are worth. You are restricted in what you can do, what you can say, when you can go on holidays, for how long you can go on holidays. You're basically somebody's resource to be discarded when you're no longer needed. So it's just a bad system. People who aren't proactive enough or smart enough to start up their own businesses work for somebody else. It's a bit of a cop-out. Like, you don't even have to think. You're given the work, you're told what to do, when to do it, and so forth. So you're a bit of a zombie. And so for some people that's great because they don't have to think. So that's really good. They have job security, they don't have to worry about things that business owners do. So it has its disadvantages because it's a very inhumane system, it's a very demoralising system. But the good thing is that you actually get compensated for that. You get paid for it. You get holidays, you get certain standards of health and safety, certain standards of conditions, and you get paid. When you go on holidays, you get paid for it. If you have a quiet time at work, you get paid for it. So they're the advantages. You get superannuation provided for you for your retirement. So the longer you work, you accumulate superannuation, which eventually will be paid out for you later on. So there are certain advantages to being employed. And you don't have to think. You just on autopilot, which for some people, for most people, is actually pretty good. Now, if you're in business, I love business. There are many advantages, particularly if you're running your business properly and successfully. There's a sense of empowerment. You can earn a lot of money. You're effectively unlimited in what you can earn. You run your own hours. There's a lot of advantages. You can pass on what you've built to your kids. You can get your kids involved. You can get your family involved. You can build something together. You're creating something of value, which potentially you can sell later on. You will do what you love doing, because most people start businesses in an area which they know very well, which they love, because it's effectively your toy, your baby, which you've created, which you handmade. Now, but there are disadvantages with business. There are issues, which is why a lot of people don't go into it, because there are risks that are involved. You have to be proactive. Most probably, if you're dumb, you're not going to succeed, because you just want, things happen in business. You've got to think in business, which is why a lot of people won't go into business, because they're just not capable of thinking adequately enough to be able to survive in business. So, you've got to stress. There's a fair bit of stress, because you always have to think. You always have to think about your product, your customers, what your competitors are doing. Like I said, you've got to be proactive. There are certain risks. There are no guarantees that you make a certain amount of income. And in the early stages, you may not make an income at all. So there's really no safety net. If you go on a holiday, no one's going to pay you. You have to structure a business in such a way that the business is able to run itself. If the business doesn't run itself, you're going to have to close the doors, you're not going to get paid. So there are issues. There are issues with business. So it's certainly not ideal, definitely. So I'm not saying that, everyone should get into business because it's perfect. It's certainly not perfect. And then we've got multi-level marketing, which takes out the worst. One of the ways that multi-level marketing is promoted is that, you are able to run your own business. You are your own boss. Wrong answer. No, you're not. That is one of the advantages of being in business. You are your own boss. You can do pretty much what you want to do. Okay? You can introduce goods and services which you think are appropriate. You can adjust pricing of your goods and services. You can set wages. You can set yourself a distribution. You set the amount that you will take out of the business. Under multi-level marketing, it's not the case. Under multi-level marketing, you are provided with a select number of goods which you can sell. You can't just add your own goods because you think they are going to sell well. You can't do that. They're going to say, no, because it's not part of the system. You have to sell these products. When you're running your own business, nobody tells you what you sell. You decide what you sell. And after a while, you will notice that some products sell better, some products sell not so well. So what will you do? Maybe you'll eventually eliminate those products which don't sell very well. Maybe you'll source more products or different products or newer products. You'll try out. So effectively you are your own boss. You make the decisions. Under multi-level marketing, you don't make the decisions. You don't set the distribution payout levels. You don't do that. That's set for you. So effectively it's like a wage. So when you work for somebody, you can't say, oh look boss, this is how I want to get paid, this is how much I want to get paid, this is when I want to get paid. The boss will say, man, go see your doctor. Multi-level marketing is pretty much the same. You do not set your own payment standards, payment levels, payment durations. No. So it's not, in your own business you do. Under multi-level marketing, you are restricted with which goods you can distribute. It doesn't matter whether you found the best product ever because you're on holidays and you've got access to a different product, a new product, a unique product, which you want to distribute through the channel you've created. Bad luck. No. You can't do it. Just like when you work for somebody, when you work for Pepsi-Cola, you can't start distributing Coca-Cola because the customers that you deal with will also want to buy Coca-Cola. You just can't do it. They'll basically hang you if you do that. So again, the Pepsi-Cola will say, what are you doing, man? Do you know who you're working for? You're working for Pepsi. What do you mean you want to distribute Coca-Cola to your customers? That's Coca-Cola's problem. That's pretty much the same that you're going to get with multi-level marketing. Okay? If you don't sell with multi-level marketing, you don't get paid. If you don't provide a good or a service when you're working for somebody, you do get paid. Imagine that you are working in a shop, whatever, some mobile phone store or whatever, a retail store, any store, and it just so happens that the customers aren't coming in. The shop's empty for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you're sitting there, you're on your phone or just whatever. You get paid for every minute, for every hour you spend not doing anything, because there's just nothing to do. You might work in a factory, say, and there's a blackout, or machinery has a fault in it and production stops. It's not your fault. There's just nothing to do. So you go for a cigarette, you get paid for it. You get paid for every single minute you're at work. With multi-level marketing, you don't. If you're running a business, you don't. Okay, so you have to find the leads under multi-level marketing. You have to do the groundwork. You have to chase up the customers. You have to promote your products. You have to try to sell your products. But you don't get paid for it until you do. Those products aren't yours. They're somebody else's products. Can you see what I'm saying here? If you go on holiday and do multi-level marketing, say, and you don't sell stuff, then you don't get paid. Oh yeah, people will say to you, oh yeah, but if you've built up a network, blah, 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 then you will get paid because you're going to make passive income. Yeah, but you're talking at a very, 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 very advanced level. That could take years. And how much money are we talking about? When you go into the workforce and when you're an employee, you get paid from day one, and you get paid a living wage. A living wage. You don't in business. And that's one of the problems with business. There may be a considerable time before you actually start making money, because when you're in business, whatever business you are in, there are establishment costs, and customers don't know about you, and you have to pay for this, buy that, buy your goods, set up your store or set up your website, just get all the infrastructure, register it. That all costs you money, but you're not getting any money out of it. That's one of the issues with it. Multi-level marketing is the same. But like I said before, but you don't get the benefits of a business. You don't have the flexibility that you do in the business. Nobody under multi-level marketing, the organisation does not put into your superannuation like your employer does. You have to do it yourself. Obviously, you prefer your employer to do it, and that's one of the advantages of being in the labour force. So it is just a bad system, right? The system is bad. It's just really bad. It's an exploitative system. What is the key? See, most people, they don't even know what the key to multi-level marketing is. So if I said to you, what is the one thing that will make you successful in multi-level marketing, what is it? Most probably you don't know. If you want, have a go, just write it down in the comments. I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. Just have a guess, that's okay. I mean, most people won't know. But it's actually quite simple and straightforward. Distribution. A normal individual does not have a distribution channel. A normal guy, a normal family man, a housewife, just a normal person, what's their distribution? Family, friends. How much money are you going to make out of that? I mean, yeah, everybody knows somebody. But if you look at how much money you make per item, I mean, $1.50, $1.20, 80 cents, $3.30. How many of these products do you now need to push to make $1,000 per week? Now, if we're talking in Australia, or even America, or even Europe, €1,000, $1,000 in Australia, $1,000 American dollars, that's not an excessive amount of money. It's not like, you're not a millionaire earning $1,000 or €1,000 a week. You're not. €1,000 actually isn't too bad. How many products do you now need to sell with your, €1 margin, or your $1.50 or 80 cents or $3.20? How many of these products do you have to now sell per week, every single week of the year, to earn your $1,000? So do you think, I'm not even going to ask you what you think. Distributing to your family and friends is not going to be adequate enough to earn you that money. What sort of products are we normally dealing with? We're dealing with shampoos, just medical products or herbs, just crap, chemicals of some sort. Once you make the sale, these aren't regular, it's not milk, where you sell the milk today and then you'll sell it again in 3 days and you sell it again in 3 days after and then a week later and then a week later. You're going to sell them the box of laundry detergent which they're going to be using for 2 months. So you're going to make $1.20 or $1.50 or $2.50 off your dad because he's purchased whatever, some lubricant, space age lubricant for his car, or and then for your mum, you've sold her the detergent. Okay, so cool, so they've made $7 out of them and for these products, and they're not going to buy those products for another 6 months. So that's not the distribution I'm talking about. I'm talking about accessing a company like a chain of hotels. How many people do you know that have access to an owner of a chain of hotels who's going to say to you, all right man, give me 150 boxes of detergent, give me 400 bottles of washing liquid, give me 500 bottles, small bottles of shampoos, give me 300 bars of soap. Oh yeah, by the way, next month I'll see you here, same time, same place, same underwear, for the same order, on and on and on. Yeah, that's where the money is. But for most people, they don't have that. So, and that's how you make money off multi-level marketing. It's distribution driven. So most people will not have that kind of distribution channel. And that is one of the things, that is one of the issues about multi-level marketing and the ethics. The marketers, the proponents of multi-level marketing make it out that it's a system that everyone can succeed, and that's just absolute crap. It's like a horse trader saying a horse is appropriate for everybody. It doesn't matter, you live in a flat, you live in a big city, you live in a high rise, you live in a housing commission, that's all cool man, don't worry about it. A horse is great because you can ride the horse, the kids can play with the horse can transport your goods. No, it's not quite correct. If you are on a farm, if you're a farmer and you have sheep or cattle, yeah, a horse is definitely helpful and it's useful and it's an asset. But the horse for the farmer does not have the same value, same usefulness, does not have the same costs as it does for a person who lives in a multi-million-dollar city. Whereas the marketers, the promoters of multi-level marketing just say across the board, oh, you can make money, just think that, everyone's got family, everyone's got friends, yeah, okay, yes, so, but, but I don't think these people are going to be happy with earning $20 per week, okay? So, this is the end of part 1, something to think about. I'm going to do a part 2, because there's a lot more to discuss here. So there's going to be a part 2, and I'm going to talk about other aspects of multi-level marketing which are just ridiculous. And I'm going to highlight them, I'm going to point them out to you, and I'm going to show you how ridiculous multi-level marketing is, and how useful it is, and how the people who actually get involved in multi-level marketing, really, they're just dumb not to see these, because it's not just that, multi-level marketing has certain disadvantages. Multi-level marketing has so many disadvantages, it's just such a bad, obsolete system, and it's just ridiculous. And today I've covered a few points, but boy, I'm going to cover a few more in part 2. So stick with me and wait for the next episode.